Welcome to today's episode on healing time. I can think of fewer tragedies than when a parent pours into their children so much time, so much resources. They give love and teaching them the ways to follow Jesus, and something goes wrong. And the child, for years or even decades, walks away from God. So many pictures are in my head of friends and family and church members that it's happened to. Their heart goes through so much pain as their child drastically changes from that sweet worshiper of God to engaging in all kinds of beliefs, behaviors, and relationships that are totally contrary to the way they were raised. It's painful to go through that. It's painful to watch it when you love somebody so much. It's so common for these parents to inappropriately, unbiblically blame themselves. But we shared on this topic before when we went through Romans chapter 1, and we know that there is no biblical place to blame yourself as the parent for your child's choices. Now today, I want to walk through the prodigal story as taught by Jesus in Luke 15 to really encourage those who are the parents in the prodigal process. And I just want to say to you, it's not your fault, but you do need to heal. This can become a very long wound, and it can drain you, and it can hurt you. So please watch this entire episode. There is hope and healing for you. No matter what your child has done, no matter what you think you've done, you can heal. Now, I'm going to start in verse 11, and it says this: Jesus continued, "There was a man who had 2 sons. The younger one said to his father, 'Father, give me my share of the estate.' So he divided his property between them." Right here, I want to stop and just discuss this young man's worldview and entitlement. You see, later we learn that he's acting out with alcohol and prostitutes, and this probably wasn't new behavior. Money makes you more of what you are. He had a secret life that maybe the father didn't know about that was creating a secular worldview in his heart. And I mean a secular worldview. A view where he was his own God. And in Western culture, this is now dominant, where he would decide his own future instead of obeying and following the will of God, where he would do as he liked and nobody could tell him what to do. Doesn't that sound like the cultural cry of today? He didn't have a view of God first, submit to authority, work hard, trust God. No, he was drinking, sexually active, immature, and entitled to what truly was not his at the time. He was full of lust in various areas of his heart. This background of secrets, a corrupted lifestyle and value, using people as objects to get what he wants, was at the root of this young man's heart. Now, I have worked with so many prodigals over the years, thousands. I have done assessments on their early life before they became blatantly rebellious against God and their family. And most prodigals have a secret life of compromise or trauma that they never told anybody about, that they never shared in their adolescence, and the secret just grew. They could have slowly started to use drugs or compromise with their friends that they were hanging out with, and slowly adopted a worldview that was totally secular. They could have experimented sexually and turned from God because of their guilt or their shame and feeling like they were broken, unlovable, and that God couldn't forgive them. They could have experienced sexual abuse by the same or opposite sex person and felt broken and too ashamed to talk about it. Whatever happened, it often happened in secret and corrupted their worldview to where they decided to create a world where God was not their real authority, but they were. This is a big, significant switch. Parents of prodigals often don't learn the whole story of their child until they come back to God and come back home and trying to reconcile their relationship with their family. That's when you learn this stuff. So if you don't know now, that's okay. When they come back, they'll tell you and it'll make sense. For now, if you're that parent, know that something was in the background that you probably didn't know about that was affecting their heart and dramatically changing and shifting the way they felt about themselves, the way they felt about God and who He really is, and about others in their life. The prodigal also had an attitude of entitlement. No culture gives an inheritance before the death of the parent. I have found this, me, myself, and I, entitlement in almost every prodigal I've ever met, professionally or personally. They are entitled to their beliefs, their choices, their friends, their sexuality, to your money. This entitlement, combined with usually irresponsibility, is the earmark of a prodigal. So if your prodigal seems illogical and demanding, lies, this is all normal. Okay? This is what you will probably go through as we move through this story. Now, in verse 13, not long after that, the younger son got together all he had and set off to a distant country, and there squandered his wealth in wild living, and in many translations they'll say drunkenness and prostitutes. Okay? When a prodigal has determined to turn their back on God, they often turn their back on everyone who is symbolic of the people who know God. The prodigal doesn't want to be confronted with their beliefs, but seeks those who agree with their rebellious ideas. So they go to a secular culture, they go to a foreign nation, right? So they move out and move away. This is a normal part of being a prodigal. So if they are avoiding you, this is very normal. It's not about you. It's about their own conviction. And they know what they're doing is wrong.